Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Wind Waker. I am Shouty Productions, and in the last episode, we completed Forsaken Fortress and did a little errands here on Windfall Island, and we got our sail, so now we're ready to set off. Very well, then I shall teach you the art of sailing. It's pretty easy, I'll explain it to you. You don't really need to listen to this big-ass explanation. Yeah, sea chart, pretty easy stuff. Nothing too difficult. Alright, now we can't change the direction of the wind yet. But once we can, we'll have a lot more freedom in regards to where we can go. I don't know if we can... Actually, we already have the Windfall Island mapped out, so we don't need to worry about baiting any fish. Well, we can worry about that later on. I think right now we're aiming for Dragon Roost Island, so, yep, that's where we're gonna go. So sailing's overall really easy. The little arrow behind your ship tells you which direction the wind is facing. So, for example, if you wanted to do something like this, you're not gonna go as fast, and the more against the wind you go, the harder it will be to go. So, just change the direction of the wind if you want to go somewhere. You can usually get away with being a little off, like this, or even like this, but if it's more than like a 90 degrees off, then might as well change it. But it gets really annoying when you constantly play the same song over and over again to change the wind. You obviously steer with the control stick. There are certain items that you can also use while on the ship, but we'll get into that later once we actually get those items. You could press up on the D-pad to bring up your map. You could look at all the islands. If you press Y, you could look at your charts. We have Tingle's chart. I think that's it. And press A to open it. That's where Tingle is, the big circle on it. Also tells you that there are ferries on those two other islands. Thank you for that horn. And that's really it. There's a ship here. We could check that out too. I think it's a beetle shop. Yep. You'll find these scattered across the ocean. So if you ever need a bait or anything like that, you usually don't have to look too far. Yep, just another beetle shop. But I don't believe we're in need of anything at all. So, fuck you, beetle. And you could hop right on the ship. And I don't think there's anything important up here. But since we haven't done it at all yet, I'll explore it. Oh, and I can't believe I didn't talk about swimming in this game. Swimming, Link's not so good at it. You might have seen that little circle thing pop up when I dropped into the water. That's because once it runs out, Link can no longer swim and he basically drowns. So you can't really swim very far if you go in the ocean. So that's why you need the boat. And if you ever fall off the boat, it's quite intimidating. Alright, we're going to try to keep this guy on board when we kill him, because we want to get his joy pendant. Oh, nope, guess not. But we do get a treasure chest, so let's see what we get for that. A red rupee, that's pretty solid. And there are like tons of these all across. That pot took way too long to break. There are tons of these types of things all scattered across the Great Sea. And I'm obviously not going to visit every single one of them. I'm not probably even going to visit half of them. But they're there. That was weird. And this game is huge. Like, that's one of the reasons I love this game so much. It's just huge. And it's all open. There are no loading times. Like, really at all when you go to like if you go to an island, you get onto the island, there's no cutscene, there's no, like in Skyward Sword, it pisses me off every time you go to Skylofts and you have to, it has to like fade to black, and then, you know, you can't just hop on the Skyloft. It's kind of annoying. But you can, in this game, a GameCube game at that, pretty much go wherever and have no loading times whatsoever. So I have to say, that's pretty awesome. Very open game, very huge game. Each one of these squares is an island. Fantastic. And I showed off that whole little sailing thing just, you know, because... but later on, unless I have something really important to talk about in regards to sailing or anything really, I'm pretty much going to be cutting out most of the sailing. Because it's the same thing over and over again. High atop this island's peak lives the spirit of the skies, a great dragon by the name of Valu. You must go see this dragon and request from him a jewel called Din's Pearl. Ask the people of the Rito tribe who inhabit this island about how to see the dragon. I think it's Rito, could be Rito. Correct me on that. And this right here is our instrument of the game. In those days, simply using it allowed one to borrow the power of the gods, but I do not know if it still works. Even so, I thought it might be of some use to you. Perhaps you should try using it. First, conduct in 3/4 time. Do not touch the control stick. Just try to match the rhythm. So using this is a little different. It's still pretty easy. You just, whatever direction you're holding the C stick in when the moving line at the top passes through the circle in the middle, that's what's gonna play. So just hold whatever button you want it to be until it crosses through. So just hold. Oh, whoops, I gotta switch first. If you switch to left, it goes to 4, and if right, it goes to 6. So pretty easy. There aren't all that many songs in this game that you use, but you do use some of them. And this is really our instrument, so now that we have that, things should be, well actually, I don't know, we're not even going to really use it that much, but sailing will be easier and all that stuff. We can't really sail freely yet, which is why I'm not that ecstatic about getting this Wind Waker, but it's pretty cool. The game really opens up to you after you beat the first 3 dungeons. So let's go and learn our first song. You can do this after the dungeon if you want. Doesn't really matter. You're not going to be using it for a while anyway. You will hear this song so many times throughout the game, because this is what lets you change the direction of the wind. Yep, that's a mighty nice breeze. The name's Zephos. I'm the god of winds. So you're the new Wind Waker, are you? Great, great. For a beginner, you've got a nice wind sense about you. I like you, kid. That tune you just picked up, well, it gives you control over the direction the wind blows. Depending on how it's used, wind can be a good thing, or a very bad thing. You want an example of it being a bad thing? Then you should see my brother. It saddens me to say that my brother, Cyclos, is miffed about his monument here being broken, and now he spends his time creating cyclones to torment people with. So if you encounter any cyclones at sea, chastise my brother for me, will you? And that is my request for you. So his brother actually gives us a much more useful song. Well, actually, I don't know. They're both pretty useful. But I really like this song because it lets you warp. But of course, much more on that later, once we can actually get it. Which we unfortunately can't actually get it until we have arrows. So it's going to be a bit before we can use it. So bombs, we don't need any special type of bracelet to pick them up. Just pick them straight up. And the thing I like about this game is it's very easy to like do what you want with the bombs. Like in Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, if you're walking or like running, you'll throw the bomb if you press A, but if you stand still, you'll drop it, and I don't know, sometimes it just gets a little, oops. Sometimes it gets a little annoying because you'll accidentally throw it when you want to drop it, or the other way around. With this game, no matter what, if you're pressing A, you will throw it, and if you press R, you'll drop it. It's very simple that way, and I like that. And so if we go across here, we can get another little yellow rupee. And yeah, we have to get over here anyway. But once we get across and bomb that rock, I don't think we'll ever have to do this again. So let's drop down. Don't jump down, please. Okay. Because I could oh, yep. Haven't quite gotten used to the R to drop it yet. I like the controls, but I'm used to it being A to drop it. And then if you pull this out a little bit, you can get up here. And there's the postman from before. Not quite as incredible as the postman from the other games, but very wise and, like, sage-like. You've traveled far, far, far for one with no wings. And your sister, is she? Is that so? Well, don't worry too much. I'm sure she'll hang in there. I have an idea, Kevin. Would you like to meet our ChiefTAIN? ChiefTAIN? I honestly don't know how to say that word. I have never ever used that word or heard of anyone who holds that position. I'm certain the blah 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 blah. Yeah. Can't believe it. I legitimately don't know how to pronounce that. I'm guessing it's ChiefTAIN because that's the only word, the only pronunciation that actually makes sense. But don't know because I've never, again, never heard of anyone being called ChiefTAIN before. Well, have you discovered the cause of the great Valu's anger? Ah, so you are Kevin, are you? Quill has told me all about you. A troubling tale indeed. I insist that you let us know if there's anything we can do to help you. We shall do everything in our power to assist you. However, in the meantime, we have a problem of our own to deal with. When you arrived on the island, did you notice the raging dragon perched atop the mountain? As you can see, we of the Rito tribe are profoundly connected to the sky. We make our livings on the airways. We do so by the graces of the sky spirit, Valu. When a Rito reaches adulthood, he or she journeys to the top of Dragon Roost to receive a scale from the great dragon. It is this scale that enables the Rito to grow his or her wings. Recently, however, the once gentle Valu has grown violent and unpredictable. Sadly, we can no longer approach him. If this continues, the fledglings who are of age will never be able to receive scales from Valu on Dragon Roost. They will remain wingless, and in time, our very way of life will be threatened. As ChiefTAIN of the Rito, my first responsibility is to solve this problem. My apologies, but I must ask you to wait for our assistance until this is done. Will you do so? ChiefTAIN, what do you think of consulting Kevin with regards to your son, Prince Komali? Or Komali? As you can see, Kevin is a gallant young lad. I feel certain that Prince Komali would open his heart to him and speak freely of his fears and worries. That may be. Let me be direct. My son, Komali, is of the age to earn his wings. Yet, he is weak, in some ways, and in light of the current situation, he may just give up on ever getting them. What say you? Will you share some of your courage with my son? Will you meet with my son? I thank you. We shall do our best to solve our problem as quickly as possible so that we may better help you with yours. I have something I wish for you to give to my son. A young girl named Medley is holding it for me. Would you find her and take it? I am counting on you. Here, Kevin, take this with you. Who knows, it might come in handy. So, the third bag, the delivery bag, which is mainly for letters and stuff like that. Stuff that's, I don't know, you deliver to people. You should find Medley in one of the upper rooms. Leave the Great Valoo to us. In the meantime, do your best to aid Prince Komali. Alright, so this is the hometown of the Ritos. We'll do more exploring here later, and hopefully enter the first dungeon in the next episode. So I am Shady Productions. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.